Order. Thank you all for being here in attendance this evening. We're going to start off by standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first order of business tonight is board organization. And so I need a motion or a nomination for board chair for the 2025, well, the rest of this year into the 2025-26 year.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Lisa Wiley as board chair.
I'll second that motion.
Do we have any discussion? We have a first and a second. Lisa Wiley. Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes 7-0-0. And Lisa, you can take this meeting.
First of all, I would like to, can you guys all hear me? In the back? Carl, thank you. You monitor that for me. First of all, I'd like to thank Chris Ratcliffe for his tenure as chair and his incredibly strong leadership. We much appreciate your time and are looking forward to the next 3 years of conversations and discussions, and we have a lot of work to do, and we're looking forward to this board and being a part of that. I'd also like to welcome Judy to our board. Are you Judy way down there? So Judy is our new board member, and quite a day she's starting off in. Thank you, Judy, for putting your name in the hat, and welcome. Are there any changes to the agenda, to the consent agenda today?
Yes, I would like to move item number 10, which is the review of the voting results, to above item number 6 after item number 5. No, this is shaking his head.
Okay, Christine, thank you. Charlie,
Wait,
did you just
did I-
second?
I
Yes.
may have, did I get that wrong?
We need to move the voting up as well.
Oh, we're doing both? I thought we weren't doing both. Okay, then I'm moving all of number 10 up to number 6.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, Charlie. So the motion is to move number 10, the discussion and voting of the budget reductions, to just after number 5, public comments 1. And we will do a group vote. All in favor?
So just before we do that,
sorry. I'm making so many mistakes tonight.
no, it's fine. There were some adjustments, and so it'd be sections 8 and 9 on what's online.
Okay. Oh, I see.
So it's the same. It's the content
Yeah.
that you're talking about.
Yep, the content is moving discussion items and voting results to just after the first public comments. That is what we're voting on. Thank you, Christine and Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0-0. And now on to Jaden, student representative.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Hang on until, make sure your microphone is on.
Check,
Yes.
check. It is. I hear it. Oh, hot mic tonight. I just have some quick things. I'm more so seeking guidance as to my kind of course going forward. Since new board members have been elected, the environment has been changed just the slightest bit. So I'm looking for guidance as to how to move forward, given changes that I can kind of set up for, that will be occurring in this upcoming school year. So I just kind of, I'm searching for guidance as to how to kind of convey learner advocacy to the school board and to the district as a whole.
Jaden, do you have any thoughts of how you would like it? Do you have any ideas?
Yes, I was considering, touring both grade schools, both Ringe Memorial and Jeffrey Grade School. Speaking with elementary learners as well as up here at the middle high school. Additionally, staff members, maybe principals if they have the time, the ability, and initiating some focus groups, specifically with our 11th graders, everyone else as well, but a focus on our 11th graders as well as our 8th graders, and our 5th graders. Just on how to navigate the upcoming school year.
Yep, Jaden, those are excellent ideas. Right off the bat, the first thing that we know about you is that you breathe advocacy, that you are a embodiment of somebody who acts, and that when you are working with people and speaking with people, you are an encourager. And so I would ask you first and foremost to double your efforts to encourage. One of the things that people need to know is, and I want to say this correctly, our 2024-2025 budget has been set. It was voted on. Nothing's changing in that. The sports you had yesterday are the sports you have tomorrow for this year. The activities you have, the clubs, nothing's changing for this, until July 1st when we start our new budget season. So that needs to be made clear that business is as usual. Okay. Also, what needs to be made clear is that tonight's discussion of the budget reductions you're about to see has to be done and voted on tonight. And basically those cuts have been made. And what happens going forward are task forces, are teams, are committees, are groups that say, how do we recover? How do we redeem? How do we move forward in a healthy, positive direction? Our work is not done tonight. This isn't over. But this step is what's final as far as tonight. What you're going to see is what is done. So we will have so many opportunities for conversations and for more arguments and more discussions and more action. This isn't, I wish I could really make that really clear, that tonight is going to be a step. It is a step that we have to take. This really stinks. That's what we're doing tonight. Tomorrow, there will be another step, and we will be working together to do those steps. I wish that weren't as vague as I feel like it was, but is that, so what we need to do though is get you communicating with the principals for those kind of study groups, what kind of language we want to do, because right now is a high anxiety time. So we want to make sure that those conversations, again, have a encouragement to them where things are still possible. Okay?
My personal goal is not to cherry pick. It's not to say, this is what we want, this is what we don't want. It's to sort of just kind of help everyone to find a way that maybe the original way that someone had expressed themselves or spent their time is changing. And whether that's in our hands or not, it's not, but whether we can do something to fill that and what needs to happen in order to create a cohesive environment moving forward.
Does anyone else have any items for Jaden and input?
Jaden, if I could be of any help, and if you want a person sitting there with you, just let me know, okay?
Thank you so much.
It's a big, really big task that you're taking on. So if you need to share that with someone, just let me know.
Yeah, I guess I just chime in. Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you so much.
All right, on to the superintendent's report. Thank you, Jaden.
Okay, I'll just make one brief remark. In May, we have the play Annie right here in this space right here. I'm excited to be part of this play this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be Roosevelt. So that will be great. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to that and to memorizing the lines, a few more than I had anticipated memorizing and singing. So we will see how that all rolls. I'm going to yield the rest of my time to the board chair.
I'll let you know when. Yeah. All right, everybody hear me okay? Carl? Okay. I had to write down my notes, so I will be looking down some. So just so you know, I'm trying not to go rogue here. Welcome. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Lisa Wiley, and this will be my 5th year as a Ringe representative to the school board. I also hold roles as Ringe Supervisor of the Checklist, School Librarian at Monadnock Regional School District, and President of our Teachers Union. I have 5 children who graduated from Conant, where I myself worked as a para and a library media specialist for 8 years, until the middle and high school consolidation in 2018, which eliminated my job. As your new board chair, I have requested the job of presenting tonight's report. In the past, this has fallen to the superintendent, but as I hope you will see, the product I'm about to show you is the result of a dozen people making impossible decisions. This series of numbers reflects sacrifices across every legally possible section of our budget. I have chosen to present their work as a visible reminder that it is our job as a school board to accept the responsibility, both of our school district's policies and budget, as well as our community's decisions made through a strong democratic process. I need to begin by setting some ground rules. The board will set aside a minimum of 15 minutes near the beginning. That's going to happen following this report. We are all here for these numbers. So I'm not going to have public comments before that. We'll do it after, okay? Comments will be limited to 2 minutes. And I literally have a timer from my elementary schools to mark that time, not to be rude, the opposite. I need to be respectful of the people who are speaking. If you do not stop your comments, I will tell you that your time is over and you must return to your seat. We will not be responding to your comments. So please, if you have questions that are not answered in the course of this evening, please email me l.wiley@sau47.org, excuse me, and, or another board member. But we will be responding to your emails and your thing. But if you have questions, we will not be responding to them tonight. Near the end of the meeting, there will be another time of public comments following the same discipline as the first. Please note, any disruption to the proceedings will not be tolerated. We will speak and act respectfully in this space, if for no other reason than our children are watching. Mine are. Our timeline is very tight per state requirements. MS 22, which is, I had to look it up, the report of appropriations approved by the voters. We are given, through that regulation, we are given 20 days from the day of the vote to hand to the state the line-by-line items. That is why feels fast. On February 5th, 2025, by a vote of 185 to 134, the voters at the deliberative session decreased the proposed budget by $3 million. On March 11th, the Jaffrey Winch community members voted yes on warrant Article 3 by a vote of 1,623 to 1,470. This vote directs the school district to reduce the original proposed budget by $3 million. On March 17th, tonight, our school board will approve $3 million in reductions. Another school board meeting will need to be scheduled so the board can accept the MS 22 appropriations that will be sent to the state. All board members' signatures need to be on that. That will be a public meeting that will take place next Monday night at 7 p.m. in the library classroom, where we will all be present to sign this. Needs to be submitted to the state by March 31st. In the category of facilities, the painting and flooring cycle will be removed and eliminated at a reduction of $120,000. Also, print materials, we will reduce supplies to a reduction of $15,000. We will reduce professional development in the facilities range for non-contractual professionals at $75,000 reduction. Athletics and co-curricular, we will eliminate athletic stipends, athletic trainer, transportation, and referees for a reduction of $366,978. Also, under athletics co-curricular, we will reduce co-curricular to a cost down a cost of $50,224. That's stipends, materials, I'm sure, but where's that? Regular ed learning extensions. Excuse me, regular ed, yep, learning extensions. We will eliminate summer school and credit recovery, summer programs at a reduction of $75,867. We will eliminate summer transportation at a reduction of $20,952. We will eliminate field trips at a reduction of $47,444. We will eliminate programming extensions such as an HDI in the Harris Center. These are places that come in and do programming with our kids. That will be a reduction of $20,000. SAU positions. One full-time position reduction due to no athletics of a reduction of $135,000. Reduce all non-union staff. Their increases. These are increases that these are not contractually bound increases, so they will be reduced to a reduction of $45,000. Preschool to grade 5, core reductions. 4 full-time teachers to a reduction of $292,674. 3 1/4 full-time paraprofessionals to a reduction of $96,753. At JGS, 1 full-time teacher reduced $132,952. At RMS, 1 elementary teacher to a reduction of $119,351. Grade 6 through grade 12 core. 1 middle school core teacher, grade 6 ELA, to a reduction of $113,751. Preschool through grade 12 unified arts. 3 unified arts elementary teachers, meaning 2 tech and 1 library, to a reduction of $299,775. CMHS general music, 1 full-time teacher to a reduction of $71,256. CMHS STEM, 1 full-time teacher to a reduction of $102,366. CMHS French, 1 full-time teacher to a reduction of $113,360. Preschool to grade 12 administration. Middle school, high school assistant principal, quarter reduction to a reduction, strike that word, to a reduction of $41,360. 1 elementary assistant principal, reduction of $155,008. Preschool to grade 12 student services. 1 middle school special education teacher. That was an open teaching position that was not filled. We will remove that, and that will be a reduction of $98,101. Out of district coordinator position, that's a full-time teacher with a reduction of $107,591. 504 coordinator, that is a reduced position to half-time with a reduction of $80,570. Preschool to grade 12, JRSSA, groundskeeper, 1 full-time reduction due to no athletics with a reduction of $63,882. Custodians, 1 1/2 due to no athletics with a reduction of $57,098. Administrative assistant to assistant principals, 1 position due in part to no athletics with a reduction of $82,687. The total combined reductions are 24.5 full-time staff reduced to a reduction of $3 million. We will now open to public comments. As a reminder, this first public comments is going to be limited to 15 minutes. There will be 2 minutes that you have. That is it. I have, and now it looks amusing when I feel no amusement. Brought a timer from my school to keep us at 2 minutes out of respect for the people who need to speak.
You said point of order.
Good. We lost students and staff to.
That's gonna be, one of you guys have to say that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Um,
Well,
Charlie, you have a motion?
Make it clear.
I'm making a motion to allow students and staff to present public comments.
Charlie's motion was for all students and staff to be able to come to the public comments. That's not part of our policy, which is why it has to be a separate motion. Is there a second?
A second.
John seconded, thank you. Vote, everybody approve? Aye.
Aye.
Yes, anybody no? Any abstentions? Okay, that passes. So when you come up to talk, as I said, we will not be answering questions at this time. We welcome your input. You see how hard this is? Okay. Parents and guardians were part of the policy. Yep. So anybody can speak now. Anybody is welcome now. Yeah. Hmm? Yeah. When you speak and come up, you do need to give your name and your address. And if you're part of a organization that would be relevant to it, like a union or something. Yeah. And do please come up to the microphone. Yeah.
Hello, can everyone hear me? My name is Jamie Mankin. I live at 282 East Menominee in Rindge. I'd like to say this isn't easy for anyone. I know this is probably not a decision anyone at this table was happy to arrive at. I've been a town taxpayer for 7 years. I'm also the director of a special needs nonprofit that has property in Rindge. I'm here tonight as a parent and as a community member. I have 3 young children, 5, 3, a year and a half, and 1 on the way. And this has been our first experience in public school. I was homeschooled my whole life. So my children were very fortunate to be in pre-K this year. My 5-year-old in the full day, my 3-year-old in the half day. And I can tell you without hesitation, with children born into a pandemic era, that pre-K was instrumental in them being set up and ready for kindergarten. My oldest would have not been ready in the fall if it hadn't been for his class. And I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional. I don't usually get emotional, but to see those cuts is really a challenge because we are saying as a community that our youngest learners don't matter and their futures don't matter. And again, I know this is not an easy decision or one that we came to as a town, as a community, but it really stinks. And I hope there's another way. I hope we can save pre-K. I don't want to have to tell my 3-year-old that he doesn't get to go to school next year because it's his favorite part of the week is waking up and going to school. The teachers and the adults in his classroom, they're instilling resilience, independence. He's learning executive functioning skills, all of these things that are going to make him more successful in the long term as an adult. I have a whole bunch of stuff here. I didn't realize it was only 2 minutes, so I'm going to cut to the chase. But the message that this is sending to my family, to young families in our town, is that we don't care about our youngest citizens because we have to make these reckless cuts. Again, this is not on you. I know that this was given to you. But it really stinks to be part of this community when this is the message that we're sending our youngest learners, is that they don't matter and their futures don't matter. So if there's any way to reconsider, I would urge you, please save pre-K for the children that are going to be entering our school for the duration of their life. Like, this is setting them up for success. Thank you.
Thank you. And while they're walking up, I did forget to set the timer, but I am watching my clock on here. So this does feel disrespectful. I will be watching the time and let you know.
I lowered the mic because I'm not a tall guy. All right, Mike Peralt, 40 Butterfield Road. Not in any board or anything like that. I do have 2 special needs kids who attend the school. at RMS. I actually wrote my thoughts down. Public speaking is not my forte, so if I get choppy, just work with me, please. So my note is actually to the students who are in the room or who are tuning in to watch this. I want each and every one of you to know that none of this is your fault. I know many of you, like me, are feeling gutted, anxious, maybe even a little betrayed by the adults in our communities. Your feelings are valid and they are rightly placed. Hold on to them. This was a battle of wills, priorities, dollars and cents between groups of people across both towns, each advocating for what they felt was in the best interest of their own wallets and their own families. While it is sad and discouraging to see your education be the target and victim of what was a much larger problem, I have hope. I have hope because behind the scenes, there were hundreds of parents and residents who cared deeply about you, sacrificing their time, their thoughts, their energies, and their money to fight for a responsible budget and responsible legislation to keep your school district operating the way you know, love, need, and deserve. And I'll tell you this, we're not going to stop fighting for you. I have hope because I understand that failure is a step, not a stop. We're going to learn from this. We're going to respond. We're going to persevere, and we're going to be stronger together. I encourage everyone to use this experience and those feelings that you have right now to get involved. Be smart, be active, be vigilant, be engaged. Save the future from more of this. Lastly, I have hope because I know the future is in good hands. With our school board, with our educators, and with our students, you. Many of you will be able to vote soon, and it has never been more important that you do so now or in the coming years. So when the time comes, don't wait for the rest of us to save your future. Take control of it. Vote with your conscience. Vote for those people who believe in you and who want a better future for everyone. And again, please remember, none of this is your fault, but it is now your fight, and I'm proud to be in that fight with you. Thank you.
Hi, is it close enough? Hi, I'm Tara Castiglione. I live in Erin Lane in Jaffrey. And this is a lot to take in when you see it written out. It is a lot to digest, but it is our reality. So I'm a little emotional, but I will try to say it as best as I
Tara,
can.
could you come in a little
Oh, yep,
closer to the
yep.
mic, sir?
I'm very handsy, so I don't
You
want
know,
to.
it's a big room. I want to hear you.
I can't do that. So I work for a nonprofit in town that focuses on community and community activities and such. And we have the platform to have the opportunities for fundraising at our community events that take place all summer long. We have our farmers market that runs for 18 weeks out of the year. We have our concerts on the Common. This season is all Jaffrey bands. So if we wanted to, we can, oh, why are you shaking and jittery? Sorry. If we wanted to, we can really pull our schools and these organizations. If drama or sports or anything needs a platform to raise money, we have it in our community. We just need volunteers to help us, because when these kids do not have their after-school programs, they're on the streets, they're at the library, they're at the parks. If we as a community, there's tons of organizations in our town that specifically work to help our kids. The more we get community involvement, the more opportunities to raise money, the more we can do collectively for our kids. So ultimately, the question is, if we were to utilize our nonprofit umbrella to host fundraising events, are we able to, and can we include stipends for the teachers who would be facilitating these events?
Okay,
And
it's about
it's,
time.
yep,
Yep.
new
Finish,
concept.
yep, let's try 5 seconds.
My name is Ann Marr. I'm sorry. I'm at 132 Perry Road, Ringe. Thank you. I'm a current RMS pre-K teacher. Excuse me. And I have two fifth grade sons at RMS as well. I would urge you to keep universal pre-K available to all families in our community. Access to quality education for early childhood is not a luxury. It's an essential foundation for lifelong success. Research consistently shows that children who attend pre-K are more likely to perform better academically, develop stronger social emotional skills, and be better prepared for future challenges. According to the National Institute for Early Education Research, children who attend preschool are 20% more likely to graduate from high school and are more likely to pursue higher education. Pre-K is not just about the academic benefits, though. Early childhood education fosters essential skills such as problem solving, communication, and emotional regulation, all skills that are crucial for success in both school and life. From an economic point of view, which seems very important in our communities, studies show that universal pre-K programs have significant long-term economic benefits. For every dollar invested into early childhood education, there is a return between $4 to $7 in reduced costs related to special education, criminal justice, and healthcare. At the deliberative session, we were continuously told that the students at our schools were underperforming academically and that their test scores were abysmal. While I don't agree with the opinions that were continuously browbeaten at these meetings, I do know that cutting universal pre-K will not make our school district stronger academically. I urge you to keep pre-K in our school district. Thank you.
Thank you. I will remind the group that we now have 5 minutes remaining in public comments for this session. We will have another public comments time, and that can go as long as we need it to go. But for this first session, this one is set to 15 minutes.
Okay. My name's Kathy Batchelder, and I live at 212 Nutting Road, Jaffrey, New Hampshire. I have actually, for 2 terms, sat on your side of the table. I'm a substitute teacher in the district. I also used to run the after-school program that we had before and after school. What I guess I didn't understand when I was coming here tonight is I thought the expectation was that there would be some kind of public input as to what we looked at as priorities for our community and our children. I have 4 children. They all graduated from Jaffrey Grade School, Jaffrey Ringe Middle School, and Conan High School. They're all successful in their chosen fields. They were all different students. My concern is that I understand how difficult the job was that you had to do. What I guess I didn't understand or wasn't aware of is that there wasn't going to be any real conversation with the folks that were sitting in the audience today as to what they thought their priorities could be or should be, or what your priorities should be or could be. I understand that you are the school board. I also know that you are elected and you kind of work for us. So I guess I'm a little disappointed that it seems that this is a done deal and there's no recourse. I will be sending out individual questions to individual school board members to find out if there's no recourse, then what is your next step to help those families that now find themselves in a really dire position? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hunter Schultz, and I'm from 111 Mountain Road, Ringe, New Hampshire, and I'm a student athlete here at Conant. This budget cut has been very disappointing and concerning heading into my senior year next year. I know many of my classmates feel the same way. I want to first say thank you to all the amazing teachers I have had over the years at Conant, and to the school board and the administrators who are trying to figure it out. I understand we are called student athletes because it's school first followed by athletics. But for me, that term really feels inseparable. I'm just as much an athlete as a student, and I put just as much hard work in on the court, field, and in the weight room that I do in the classroom. It is who I am. It is my hope that during your decision on where to find 3 million, you could consider leaving some sports on the table. It's my goal to play baseball in college, and if playing next year is not an option, I will be forced to look at private schools or maybe even moving because I won't give up on that dream. That being said, I love Conan and my teammates, and I really want to finish here with Oriole pride. Thank you for your consideration of sports.
Good evening, Valerie Carey, 307 Wellington Road, Ringe. I am a principal of a local school district, although not in this district. I just wanted to offer my 2 cents, having endured a similar cut impacting a district that I was a principal of several years ago. $1.5 million cut on a $12 million budget. One thing that we learned the hard way is as you're cutting things out of the budget, keeping budgeted lines with some appropriation in them rather than zeroing them out matters as people are talking about making donations, or if you have unexpected changes and expenses in your budget, if appropriations can be made to a line that is funded, that matters. I also wanted to just say, please take care of your remaining staff. Given the depth of the cuts, staff remaining will feel an increased responsibility to pick things up because of who they are. They will tend toward filling gaps at the expense of their own needs. Please take care of your staff so that you do not lose them to burnout. It is hard to overcome and move forward from the horrible things that have been said over the past several months. Please remember that the end some folks were looking for in lower taxes do not justify the means of dismantling the support system of our students. The staff in this building, any other buildings in this district matter. The people who supported my child and his friends matter. And every student who walks through these doors deserves the support and the opportunities that those children had. At every turn, we need to document what is needed to get back to that for them. You've been accused of fear-mongering, and you will be accused of retaliation in your cuts. Please know that I know, and many others know, that you are doing what is legally responsible. And nothing is going to feel good when you're cutting $3 million. And I'm so sorry you're in that position. And as a Ringe voter, I apologize to the voters of Jaffrey that you always seem to be overcoming our outcomes.
Thank you. Above and beyond respectful. Thank you. We are now going to enter into board discussion, and that also is regulated. And we will limit it currently to 20 minutes, and then if a board member would like to extend that time, you are welcome to ask that, and the board can vote for that. So we will go around and discuss this. Anybody ready to start? Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call each person, and we will come back to you again if you have nothing just yet, but I will call each person to see if you have any questions, any particular input, and certainly any clarification that you would like on the items. So who's at the end there? Let's see, is Judy ready?
Yeah,
Judy.
I,
Hi, Judy.
I,
Any clarification that we can ask?
No,
For
I-
Ruben or staff?
no, I just feel bad in general for both sides because I know that I had to pay probably more than a quarter of my income as a single mom to send my daughter to preschool because I had to work and she had to go during the day. And it was valuable and it was a struggle for me to afford it. And to have had the gift of a town that actually provided it would have just felt like a miracle. And I feel so sad that this appears to be where the cuts are being taken. And also sports are so important. And I'm just feeling here, I'm feeling horrible, but I'm also feeling horrible for the fact that I know that there are neighbors in our community that can't afford their electric bills and they can't afford anything. And they're really, really in a hard way. And I'm sure they wouldn't have asked for cuts, except they're really struggling. So I guess my only comment is that all around this is a horrible and sad situation. And I'll do my best to be a good school board member, but these are sad times and I just feel bad about it. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Judy. John?
I'm gonna pass for the moment.
Okay. Christine? Sorry, Charlie, I missed you there. I'll get back to you.
So the
yeah,
point
I-
of this is to ask questions about the cuts. Is that all right? I know we've discussed this before, but I want to discuss it again because there's new people in the room and probably new people paying attention. Why would pay to play not rescue us? Why can we not just suddenly charge tuition or charge students a fee to play a sport? Ruben, would you be able to answer that? I know we've talked about it before, but.
The MS-22 requires us to put down the areas where we are, where our expenditures are going to be. So getting revenue is one thing, but you have to, before that, you have to budget for your expenses. So that's it in a nutshell. Carrie might have more to add, but I don't know if she does or not.
It's not budgeted, you can't spend it.
If it's not budgeted, you can't spend it. If there are, what the voters indicate is the budget is the budget. With the school board can accept unexpended, unexpected revenue. But we can't plan for that at this point in time. We can't plan for it because it would be unexpected or unanticipated is the phrase that would be used, unanticipated revenue.
And so that would be like if there was a booster club started, or if there was some donations made through nonprofits, we could accept that revenue, but because it's not budgeted, because it's not anticipated, we can't count on it. And so we just have to sorry. So we just have to cut, right? We have to cut $3 million in a lot of jobs. And I don't really have anything else to say, except this is really horrible.
All right, Charlie?
I understand I'm just supposed to be asking clarifying questions, not debating.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Could I ask you to move the microphone where we can all hear you?
I understand I'm supposed to be asking clarifying questions and not debating line items. So I just have one question that is on the print materials, $15,000. What is the basis for that?
Looked at the total amount of print materials and said, let's cut it and try to do well with less.
Chris?
Yeah, as far as clarifying questions, I don't have any. I think I've been
well informed throughout this whole process. Unfortunately, this list is very much like the list that we've been talking about for a month now. And it has come to be. As far as, my opinion, I think that's been probably well documented. And I've shared it, but I don't have any further questions on the line items. I feel I've been properly informed and involved, and don't have any questions.
Sandy?
I don't really have any questions either. It's just ugly. I wish we didn't have to do it. I just think that we're never gonna get this back, and to get it back, it's gonna take years to get it back. I mean, we can't come in next year and say, oh, let's put the 3 million back, plus everything else that's gone up. We've got so much of the budget that we can't cut, that is legally we have to fund, or we're state mandated to fund, that there's only a small pie that we can pick from. And it's not a pie that any of us want to pick from. But the voters have spoken, and we must do.
I'll go first and then I'll go back around, okay, John? My clarifying question is, Ruben, could you talk a little bit more about the preschool and what will be still intact from that? My understanding is this will look more like pre-COVID times, but if you could talk a little bit to what we actually are keeping for the preschool portion.
Sure. Losing universal access to pre-K is deeply personal and terrible. What will remain is what we had in place and what is legally required prior to, well, even several years prior to COVID, when we started on this journey to get what we have. And that's half-day 3- and 4-year-old programming for learners with who are identified and need those services. And it's typically a 50-50 ratio of learners who have those needs with typically developed learners of that age through a lottery. And that's what will remain.
John?
Yes, I just have a clarifying question about the process going forward. We have an obligation to get our MS-22 with our budget into the state, and as Chris has pointed out, we've been talking about these likely cuts for a while, so we have to make a decision tonight. But on the budget side, obviously, we can't budget for things that we don't have money for. But when it comes to issues like pay for play, or even a pre-K program that would be something that people actually pay for, I'm assuming that further discussions can happen or will need to happen over the next couple of months as we approach the start of the new fiscal year. So I'm asking for input on that, and I also just wanted to mention the idea that was thrown out of making sure that there are budget line items that exist, so that if excess money is available for whatever reason, transfers can be made. I guess I'm asking about those two items.
we'll make certain to budget a dollar in certain lines to make sure that we are able to expend from those functions. I have nothing else to add.
Okay, then I'd still like clarification on the first item in terms of what's our process now going forward for trying to see what we can do in any of these areas that will otherwise be cut if we did nothing.
The process going forward will be, next Monday night, we will sign the paperwork that Kerry brings that we formally hand to the state. Tonight, we will have some discussion on our committee roles, but that will become probably more formalized at our next formal school board meeting. I believe that what needs to happen next is our committees really need to set goals and these committee meetings are all public. And each of these committees needs to set goals to address not just the cuts, but many of the concerns that have been brought forward and brought to light that precipitates these cuts. And that work is done working with our board and committees with admin, setting policy, looking at the data to see where we need to really shine a spotlight moving forward. The domino effect and repercussions, John, of this budget cut will be reverberating for a long time. One example will be by cutting athletics, we will, I can 100% guarantee, drop in test scores, because a major piece of our athletics is that our athletic director and admin are very strict. If a student has a game or a practice, their grades need to be at a high level and they need to show up to school. We need to look at truancy. We need to look at what the grades are and what is going to be the motivator, because the truth is, for 100 of our students, getting up in the morning means being able to play after school and be a part of this after school. And that's the reason they come to school. So this is going to have incredible repercussions. There will be no way that we can increase our grades with this in place. And so all of this, we've got to work in our committees with our admin to really look, and our communities. And thank you. I want to get her name right. Tara, right? So I want to we need to work in our communities to figure out what can we solve by September to be able to redeem something in this. We're not going to put this stuff back. What can we redeem from this? And that's got to be really intensive, goal committed committee work to get that done. We have our work cut out for us. So we need to take our committees very seriously and make sure that they're publicly, put out so that people have this input. This is nothing that the 7 of us are going to fix at all. This has got to be something that we work bigger with, including the State House. We've got to work with this to get this redeemed. All right. Yeah, who would like to add to?
People viewing in, they see some of these line items with some of these positions and they seem kind of high, right? And I'm wondering, is this a teacher's salary that we see on here, just for point of clarity?
Those numbers reflect total cost for an individual, so teacher salary plus health benefits plus dental plus New Hampshire retirement. There's a portion of that all of those that staff pay, but there's also a district portion of that. Taxes, so FICA, Social Security, all those areas. So no, those numbers are not what people are taking home. Those are not their gross salaries.
Thank you.
Any other board members wish to speak? Then it behooves me to request a vote. And
I would make a motion that we accept the budget reductions as presented and discussed here tonight.
thank you, John. We'll need a second.
Second the motion.
Thank you, Sandy. All in favor of the proposed budget reductions? Signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed?
No,
Any abstentions? Okay. Any abstentions? No, thank you. Please don't. Please don't. This is honest to God too hard. I appreciate that, but please don't. The vote passes 6-1-0. On to the next agenda item. Sandra is making a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented. It includes manifests to a total of $538,643. A donation to CMHS Drama of $500 from the Ratcliffe family, and includes the stipend list. Do I have a second to accept the consent agenda?
I'll second.
Thank you, Christine. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Consent agenda passes 7-0-0. I need a motion to accept the minutes for the mentioned meetings. There's a minutes for February 10th, 2025 meeting.
I move we accept the minutes for the February 12th as,
Okay.
as presented.
I'm going to put those up so that we can see who was in those. Sandra made a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
second,
That was John? Charlie. Charlie seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? And Judy, at this point, as a point of order, so if you were not at a meeting, that's an appropriate time for you to abstain from them.
Sorry.
So no, and
abstain.
it's
Okay.
absolutely just as this is how it works kind of a thing, so.
Okay,
thank you. You want to abstain?
I do.
Cool, okay.
Thank you.
So the vote passes 6-0-1. Minutes for February 17th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the February 7th meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you, Christine. Second,
I'll second it.
Sandra seconded. All approve?
Aye.
aye,
Aye.
Any noes? I know I'm reading through to make sure everybody was there. And any abstentions?
Abstain.
you, Judy. Vote passes 6-0-1. We have scheduled the action items. We did schedule the next board meeting to approve MS 22. Carrie, we're putting that for next Monday night at 7 o'clock in the library classroom. There is an action item to approve a PA system upgrade that Mike Cotton put together. We did bidding on that. Based upon the bid received, the vendor's reputation and ability to meet the district's needs, I'm recommending that the Jaffrey Range School Board award the district-wide PA system upgrades to Arcom Communications. The total appropriations will be $157,343.03. The bid specifications are on our agenda. Anybody can take a look at those. Do I have a motion to approve the appropriation of funds for this?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Christine. Do I have a second?
Carrie would like to say something.
Yeah.
Yep. Can we do discussion after? Before the motion. Before the motion. Thank you. Before the motion. Do we have discussion? Charlie?
She has,
No, I need to.
she has something as part of the,
Before the motion is finalized, Carrie needs to make a comment.
Yes, so let's do discussion now. Christine, you can hold your.
yeah.
So if this is there,
The floor to me?
I didn't hear you, Karen.
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking for discussion, so I was confused.
Oh, no, I am.
And
Char-
as part of the motion, can you please award the bid to this company if you're choosing to do that? And authorize the superintendent to execute the
Yes.
contract?
It is part of the motion to authorize the superintendent to expend those funds. Yes, did I say that correctly? Because I can't hear
Execute the
you.
contract.
I
To
didn't.
execute the contract.
Yes, what you said, I literally can't hear you. So yes. This is quite a haul. All right.
Is that?
Is there any discussion of this motion?
Can you just explain why it is that we're getting a PA system? I think that might confuse people. I know it's not, I think it's on the agenda, or maybe it's not, but I believe it's to make sure that we're broadcasting our messages to all the classrooms. I think that's the point, right?
Yes, so it's right, it's in the document. So I'll put it up on the screen, I believe. Yep. So all locations are in a single paging zone. These are ceiling mounted speakers to be used in locations with drop ceilings and wall mounted box speakers in classrooms without drop ceilings. So it's connecting of the existing speakers so that we have both for security and for communication throughout the schools.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
And that's coming out of this year's funds.
that's, yes, yeah, right now. Any further discussion on the motion? Christine, do you still say?
I still make that motion exactly as Carrie said it.
All right, and Sandra, did you second it? Second it? All approved?
Aye.
Aye. Any negates? Any noes? Any abstentions? All right, motion passes.
Do we have the 25-26 calendar? School calendar? No. Okay.
All right, so I need to ask, Ruben, this was the final that was emailed to this. Does the final agenda that's up on the screen, the one that's on the website?
Yes.
Okay, so the final one on the screen is the one that's on our website. For those of you who are following the most recent email that sent us the agenda that said final, it's not. So the agenda up here does not include discussion on the school board calendar, which we will postpone to the next meeting.
Just
The
an
next,
I can provide an update on that.
Okay.
Yeah, so the school board calendar goes through a variety of steps. So I met last week with Messinic and Conval. We have to have our school board calendar, our school calendar, our school district calendar matched up with one another within 10 days due to CTE. And so that we have drafts that will come to the board at the 31st meeting. And I apologize for leaving.
Next action item is approval of a field trip for the CMHS senior class trip to Rhode Island and Connecticut, June 7th through June 8th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve this field trip?
So move.
John, thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. That passes 7-0-0. Are there any board committee updates? I know policy has not met since our last meeting. Okay. No board committee updates. It is now time for public comments. Our second session. We will not be limiting this to 15 minutes. We will stay as long as you guys would like to speak to this. We will keep the comments to 2 minutes still. But if you would like to come back to the microphone, I think the board is okay with that. And again, the same rules follow as far as discipline, but also as far as students and staff welcome to the microphone.
Allison Marr, Ware Farm Lane in Ringe, New Hampshire. I had a whole speech prepared to thank you all because I know that this is incredibly hard. But I have to say I'm pretty frustrated tonight. 15 minutes before this decision was made, I would agree with Kathy. That seems really short-sighted. I know that your job is not easy, but you are elected officials who are charged with listening to your constituents, and cutting it to 15 minutes seems really irresponsible. I feel like there was not a lot of discussion, which has me frustrated. I know this is an impossible decision, and I'm most frustrated at the people who were so vocal at the last few meetings who couldn't even bother to show up and explain where these magical cuts were that they thought they could find. Because there aren't magical cuts. This is real and this hurts. And what I would ask you all to know going forward is that there are many of us who are here to help, who want to help to make up the difference for the kids who are suffering because of this. But I would also ask you to really think about the things that you say on that board, because those words are impactful and they gave power to a lot of people who made a lot of hurtful choices in our community. But it also matters when you don't say things, because when you don't say things and you don't tell people that it's going to hurt, it is also impactful. So moving forward, I want to let you know that I am here to help. There are many people here to help, but we are only here to help if you are truly in this to help us. And I want to thank those of you who I really felt like were here to help.
Before we continue the public comments, I just want the people who are on Zoom to know that after, I see 4 people standing. So after 4 people, we are going to cut to Zoom comments, and then more people in person can definitely speak. I do want to make sure that I remind people that we do have very strict guidelines on not mentioning any names and not, and again, let's follow what we did the previous 15 minutes. That was incredible. We need to be respectful right now. So thank you. Thank you.
My name is Colleen Ringer. I am a resident of Jaffrey. I also have 2 children that attend the district. I myself also went through the school system, and sitting here this evening, I am completely devastated and completely upset that my children are not going to have the same experience that I had. It sounds like nothing was saved for the children in this district. I work in the pre-K. Not only am I completely devastated to go into school tomorrow morning and know that that's it. That was the last day for our little kids, the little ones coming up. It's hard to put forward a tremendous effort knowing that we didn't even consider other options. We didn't look at anything else. We weren't given a chance to actually look at the budget in terms of possibly administration positions or upper positions. We just said, this is it. These are the cuts. That's it. I didn't realize coming here this evening, like they were saying that 15 minutes, that's all what we were going to have to actually take it all in. I am very disappointed. We did not have an open forum, an open discussion to actually listen to all the people here this evening who do not want their sports cut, who do not want their athletics, do not want drama, do not want anything, do not want pre-K, do not want all these things cut. I am very disappointed to call this my district. I am very disappointed to work for you. And I am very, very sad. And I'd like to say that I'd move on, and I will try to be a positive person. If my people that I work know, I bring smiles to the school. I bring joy. I try every day to show up and know that those kids are going to have the best days of their lives. It is really hard walking through the schools right now. The teachers are so sad. And we really didn't listen. I don't feel tonight that we listened to people this evening and considered anything else but the things that are affecting our children. I am here to work for you. I will fight. I will come up with things. I will be on your committees if you need it. I want to bring these things back for these children, for this community. This is ridiculous. So that's all I need to say.
I'm Scarlett Castiglione. I am the current president of Conant Drama, and there's not much I would like to say. There's not much I know to say, but I have found more support from our drama club that I joined when I was 12 years old than any family member that I can think of. They've been there for me. They've protected me. They've helped me. They're really, as cliche as it sounds, they're genuine family members to me. They're people I love, trust, and support. And knowing that I'm losing a director that's awful. And the thing about our generation is that we are so busy on our phones, we aren't doing anything to help. I'd love to help. I don't know how to help, but in any way that I can, in any way that I can try to help my peers, try to get them off of their phones instead of staring at a screen, to get up and do something, because we are the ones at risk here. It's awful, and that's really all I have to say. I'd love to help in any way that I can. Thank you. I am Nex Harris. I'm in Rindge. And I am currently the set representative for the Conant Drama Club. I have been a part of this club since my freshman year, when my English teacher actually recommended it because she was the director. Since then, I have mostly been running backstage, but I've also got pulled onto the stage a couple times, which is how I can come up in front of you today and do this. I have also been playing volleyball since middle school, and knowing that my senior year, I'm not going to be able to play, it's heartbreaking, really. In elementary school, I did music, and then I lost my passion for it. And since coming back and rejoining in high school, I'm now going to school for music. I'm going to be a music educator, and knowing that this has already passed is heartbreaking. And after the drama club learned about the cuts, we have been coming up with countless ways that we can save our program, even if it's not through the school, even if we have to come up with our own plan where we only borrow the Pratt, just something that we can save our program and stay connected as a family. That's all. Thank you.
We are welcoming more people to come to the microphone and be ready to do that, but let's open it up to Zoom comments, please.
Hi, this is Leslie McLean. I live at Redgate Road in Jaffrey. Can you hear me?
Not very well, Leslie. Can you talk a little louder?
Yeah, I will do my best. First, I'd like to thank Chris Radcliffe for his excellent leadership over the past year. He had a very hard job and he did a great job. To address a comment made earlier by the board, I believe there is a fairly large contingent of people who voted for the budget cut, not because they couldn't afford it, but because they have a desire to see the school system reduced or eliminated. You only have to hang out in some of the local Facebook groups to see that. Parking lots for sporting events are filled with very expensive SUVs Many absentee ballots are sent to people with vacation homes. They vote for state representatives who are hostile to public schools. They want their EFAs and they want to fund private schools and homeschooling. The board mobilizing toward the state level is an urgent need. One of the main things we learned during this process is that presenting a budget to the people that is not recommended by the full board is disastrous. Having a dissenting member gave voice to a vocal minority who turned out in great numbers. The dissenting comments gave this minority quotes to pull out of context or other material they could latch onto and let them live in a fantasy land that they did not require us to make $3 million in cuts. It added to the idea that the district was fear-mongering, which obviously wasn't true. As a result, an uninformed decision was made by the populace. And to interject into my original idea for these comments, now a member of the board voted against the budget cuts, and I would like to know why. I appreciate the work that the board has done. I don't envy any of you. This was a very difficult job. As a member of the SAU, I can tell people that this was not a rash decision, that lots and lots of conversations were had. It's unfortunate that we don't have a forum where this can be done one-on-one with more community involvement. The time restraint, I think, is one of the big struggles here. But I can tell you that as a member of the SAU for the first time in my 5 years here, I dread going to work tomorrow.
Hi, my name is Heather Dean. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, thank you.
So I have been a employee of the district for 22 years. I actually live in Swansea, New Hampshire, and I am the mom of 2 children that attend Monadnock. And I have to say, my first comment goes out to Hunter because I am super proud of you for speaking on behalf of your student body who play athletics. My heart breaks for my colleagues tomorrow for what has happened tonight. This is the first time in my 22 years that I cannot believe I am working with a district that we encourage our kids in the beginning of the year to write about their dreams and what's going to happen. But I have to say right now, I think about the juniors and seniors for next year in Conan. Kids have dreams to play athletics. And a lot of these kids go to school because they have a dream to go on and play athletic sports. For me, I don't know what does this look like for our kids? And how are we going to support them? I have questions because without the athletics and without an athletic director, then what do these kids get? Who do they get to seek out to? Does this mean that our Conant students get to go play for other schools in this area? Because they darn well should be given that opportunity. Because when you contact the NCIA and they say, contact your athletic director. Well, guess what? We might not have one. Oh, contact your principal. How many of our principals know what that looks like when it comes to playing athletic sports? Our kids that are juniors and seniors in Conant, they've had dreams. And tonight, this is huge. They're going to wake up tomorrow and be like, I don't blame them. Why should I come back to school? And if there's anything that I can do to help those kids, gosh, I wish I could. I am so at a loss. And I back Leslie, like tomorrow, it's like to go to work tomorrow. What's that going to be like? I've loved my job and I've dreamed of being an educator since I was in kindergarten myself. But I've never, ever felt the way that I feel tonight. And I hope that the amazing people that I work with at RMS and in this district, we do what we do because we love these kids. And these kids will keep doing what they do because we go to work and we put a smile on our face and we have their back. It's unfortunate that people that were too busy saying the things that they said couldn't show their face tonight. Thank you.
We will continue public comments on the floor. Those of you on Zoom, if you would like to speak again, please just notify us. We'll be watching the back for a thumbs up and get you on the line. Thank you.
My name's Julie McGonigal. I live in Jaffrey, 95 Lordview Drive. Ruben, this is for you. I don't disagree with anything that's being said tonight, and I've had all the emotions, and I know I'll have them again. Thank you, Ruben, for having a dream. These past 7 years in pre-K have been amazing. I don't know where I'll be next. I have no place to go, but that's okay. I know there's a plan for me. Don't give up in the dream. Anybody here in this town, these little people need your help. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Jimmy Gallagher. I'm a resident of Jaffrey. I'm also a special education teacher at RMS. I just wanted to sort of say publicly for those who are watching and aren't aware that this problem is not going away until we fix the way that the state deals with funding. It's inequitable the way that grant funding is distributed between towns in the state. New Hampshire is actually ranked the worst in the entire country for state funding for public education, lower than places that we usually look down upon as states in terms of education, despite having plenty of resources available, plenty of dedicated teachers. It's only going to get worse each year because we're not being funded properly, and all of that funding is being provided by local taxpayers, specifically property owners, which then falls on renters as well. So this isn't going away this year. It's not going to go away next year either. If we don't start looking at things like the way that grants are distributed, the way that we just look at the way that taxes are written in this state, it's only going to get worse every year. So I hope as a board that you guys look at that. I know that as teachers, we need to start looking at that and working together as well to start to fix those problems at the state level, because it's only going to continue to filter down from Concord. Okay, thank you.
Valerie Carey, 307 Wellington Road, Ringe. I just wanted to, mention again, I just feel like the cuts that are being made that were voted on tonight are super painful. And everybody knows they're super painful, but they weren't private. They weren't new tonight. They've been shared. Chris Ratcliffe opened his personal Facebook page to Q&A. People, anyone who would listen, there were people out there willing to tell you the dangers of this vote. There was a large group of individuals who gave a lot of their personal time and energy to try to overcome this proposed cut. But now it is a cut, and there's no good way to cut $3 million. And if you cut it from student services and things that are required, the district will pay more in fines and non-compliance, and the district will pay more in sending students out of district because you can't meet their needs here. This is a terrible cut. Nothing good was going to come out of it, but all of this information was available to us. And it feels terrible for it not to be a public discussion at this point, but I do feel like there were a lot of opportunities for it to be a public discussion at deliberative session, in budget building meetings. There were a lot of opportunities, and it feels now that everything is out of our hands because everything is out of our hands. And there was not a good way for this board or this staff to cut a devastating dollar amount from the budget. And I feel for everyone in this room and the students who aren't here and the staff who aren't here. But please place your anger where it belongs, and that is on the way that education is funded in the state of New Hampshire, and on people who say they want to save money and your scores are bad, But never in the history of making schools better has cutting money from a budget made schools better. So I think we need to know what their actual point was. And that's where the anger needs to be, not at the people sitting in front of us trying to solve the problem at this point in the most legally defensible way. Thank you.
Evening, John Stone, 10 Paradise Lane, Jaffrey, New Hampshire. I came to Jaffrey in, I believe it was 1978, and I was a teacher at the middle school. Went on to become a teacher trainer in the district. Went on to become principal of Ringe Memorial School, and retired in 2000, I believe it was 2012. Raised 3 children in the school district. They're all very successful. Computers, software engineers, editors for Pixar, working over at Millipore also. And I'm really looking at the cuts. And I know as a board, I sat on the board also for 6 months, I believe, when I was filling a position. And as a board member, I knew, that we had to make some important decisions, but nothing as important as this. And I'm really upset that it had to happen to cut $3 million. As I was growing up, my mom and dad, they didn't have a penny to, to survive. But they did. And they knew taxes were going up. They lived in a small town in Massachusetts, a mill town. They knew taxes had to go up. And my dad said, if it's for my kids, I'm going to make sure I pay those taxes. And I said, Dad, how are you going to do it? He said, well, we're going to cut back. And every week we're going to put money away in a savings account so we can have that money in the future when we need it for our taxes, etc. Car registration, or we'll go without. My father taught me that. And yeah, as an educator, I didn't make a lot of money. Made a little bit more money as a principal, but not a whole heck of a lot. But my wife and I struggled with 3 boys. We didn't buy them cars. If they wanted a car, they worked for it. They went out and did that because they saw that mom and dad were putting away $2 a week, $10 a week, whatever it might be, so that we wouldn't have to stand in front of people and say, I can't afford these taxes. Well, think ahead, folks. Think ahead and plan ahead. Put the money away instead of going out and spending it on things that you probably don't need. Our kids come first. And with cutting, I know this is hard, but through my years as an educator, I've seen kids saved by extracurricular activities. Kids right at the elementary school who said, I don't want to go home because my family's always fighting, or my older brothers and sisters pick on me. I need something in school. That was the elementary kids. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 4th grade kids wanted something. They wanted to be after school just so they didn't have to go home. And I know many kids, even today, if they didn't have after school activities, and I've seen it happen through the years, where kids have breakdowns, kids get suicidal. And you might say, no, they don't get suicidal. Yes, they do. I've seen it. I know for a fact, and I've dealt with it, with kids going through that. I won't get into how I know these kids, but they would come to me. And yes,
Kid's principal.
I was your,
You were my kid's principal, and I have to tell you that you have 1 more minute.
I have 1 more minute. Okay, so the kids need things. We need to save them just because they need to improve themselves, and sports and after-school activities will improve them, and they will do better academically. And thanks for the reminder. Love to talk. Thank you.
Once again, I'm Scarlett Castiglione, and when I found my passion in drama, again, I was 12 years old, middle school, and the middle schoolers that are now joining drama, it's obvious that it's something they really care about. They want to be there. They're memorizing their lines. They're all having fun. And for them to experience their first musical and to just take that away after, it's awful. And it's awful that they won't be able to have the same experiences that we have. Last year, I played the role of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And not only was I just performing in front of an audience, I got to perform in front of my entire educational past. It was every single teacher that watched me grow up. They got to see me on stage, that I'm not just on my phone backstage. I'm doing something that I love. And I think that's the beautiful thing. And it's sad that these middle schoolers won't be able to experience that. And I'd really like to use this as a thank you. So thank you to Miss Oshiak for being my first director. She introduced me to drama. She helped me with the acting. She taught me everything I needed to know. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then to Miss Hibbard, who isn't here, and unfortunately, she won't be able to be there anymore. And that's going to be awful because she's wonderful. She was a new director, but the impact she's created is incredible. And I appreciate her for that. And lastly, to Miss Swift, who has helped me since 6th grade. She has been such a positive impact to my life. She's hilarious too. That helps. She's helped me in situations where I felt uncomfortable. She's laughed when I've told jokes. She's really been there. Like, I am always excited to go to her class because I know I'm never going to feel unsafe. I'm always going to be happy there. And I appreciate her as well for being one of the directors. And thank you to everyone here.
Scarlett, I'll let you do that because I completely agree with everything you said, and I love listening to you, but I have to remind everybody that we cannot be mentioning specific people as much as we love them. But I do, thank you. Thank you for that.
I'm back. Next Harris. I just wanted to come back and start speaking about my middle schoolers. I know I'm still in high school, but I've been working with middle schoolers in both drama and in band. I'm in the music room for both of my free periods during my first half of the day, and I'm working with 6th through 8th graders. I have built such great bonds with them that if I'm not there, they ask, where's next? They have been such an inspiration, even to me, and I don't even know how much younger. And I've just loved working with them. For the middle school show, the rehearsal, they were all so excited to be on stage. And the ones who were able to work backstage and wanted to do that, they were able to do that. Most of them, actually no, all of them had their lines memorized pretty much right off the bat. They were all so excited to be there. And it's so sad to know that even possibly by the time that they graduate Conant High School, they might not have that experience again, depending on when we get our funding back for the club. Yeah, they have just been, it's been so great to work with them throughout my junior year, and I'm hoping I can work with them again going into my senior year because it has been lovely. I've watched all of these kids grow from the beginning of the year to now. Some of them are learning more instruments, and some of them are just learning the basics of music or the basics of how to act on stage and what is acceptable in a high school show and what maybe should stay in a middle school environment. They've been learning so much, and I'm so happy that I've been able to experience and grow with them. That's all. Thank you.
While Alicia comes up, do we have anybody else on Zoom? Is that a yes? Okay. After Alicia, we're going to pause for Zoom comments. Go ahead, name first, member.
Oh, yes. Sorry, who introduced me, Lisa? So Alicia Stennerson, Jaffrey. I just want to begin by expressing my deep and sincere sympathy for the administration, the school board, who has consistently supported our children throughout this budget process. For all of our teachers and administrators, all those who are faced with this devastating, reckless, and selfish budget cut, I'm grieving with you. To the children in this district, our future, we see you. This cut is not okay. We should not have to ask you to bear the cost as a district that already spends well below the state average per student. Please know that your community is not defined by the reckless actions that have taken place this month. To the adults who supported this cut, and may I add, couldn't even be bothered to show up to bear the responsibility of their actions, know that your actions will have devastating effects for years to come. To those in this community who grieve, who are here tonight, sad, angry, anxious, scared, the time is now to let your voice be heard, to stand up and right this wrong for our children and for their future. I'd like to share the words of Ralph De La Rosa from his book, Don't Tell Me to Relax. He says, "Our anger is moral. Our rage is sacred. Our anxiety contains wisdom. Our hearts are telling us the truth. If the truth makes others uncomfortable, good." And so I encourage you, parents, community members, board members, our school administrators, and our teachers, hold on to your anger. Let it burn as the fuel that turns the wheels of change. Let's keep showing up for our community, for our schools, and for our children, and right this wrong. Thank you.
All right, we're ready for Zoom, please. All right, so the people with the Zoom have decided not to speak at this time. Are there any more floor public comments?
My name's Nick Hill, live at 27 Turnpike Road in Jaffrey, New Hampshire. I'm not going to be as eloquent and have good words as they had. I've lived here in Jaffrey for 47 years. I grew up, I went to this school. I played athletics in this school. I have nieces and nephews that play athletics in this school. And this is devastating. This is heartbreaking. And I am just at a loss for words. But I want to say that I appreciate a lot of you on the school board, and it's not them that we need to be upset and disappointed with. It has to be the people that voted yes to this. And that as a community, we need to fight together, and I will help any way that I can, and we will fight and keep fighting for these kids. My kid has special needs, and he was afforded the opportunity to go to RMS as a preschooler. And it was the best thing that ever happened for him. And to see that cut is devastating, but I understand where you had to come from on that. And I just hope that, like I said, I hope we can get together as a community and work together, because there is a strong divide right now between our two communities, and it's not good. And we need to work together to bring this back together, back to the communities that I grew up in, that others grew up in, and we just got to fight for these kids. So that's all I got. Thanks.
Amy Macon again from East Menominee and Renge. 3 points to just share. The first is a question. I know you're not answering questions, but where do I send my kids now? There are no private daycares. There's no private preschools in Renge. What do I do with them? I know you're not answering questions. Honestly, though, I would love suggestions because I'm not from the area. I'm already paying taxes. I can't also pay private preschool tuition. So it's really a shame that one of my children got an amazing opportunity and the rest of them will not. My second point is I'm confused about how these meetings work. A lot of the information that I got about these meetings, I got from a Wrench Facebook page that is not related to the district at all. And I know that I've heard like information was out there and information is available, but that was all very conflicting information and not people from the board. For the deliberative session, I did not know that there was going to be a vote to cut the budget. I surely would have been there if I had known. I've never attended board meetings in the past because I always thought that my children's best interest were being looked out for. Now I know that's not the case, so I need to be more involved. I also didn't realize tonight that there would be no discussion on what would be cut. So it feels confusing and frustrating that there was a discussion to cut all of these things from this budget, but then there was no conversation about what exactly would be cut. So I feel frustrated for that. And I know it's been done, but I wanted you to know that that's how I'm feeling. And then just as a final point for all the administrators in the school districts, I do run a summer camp in Wrench, and I'm happy to provide outdoor ed, field trips, pro bono. So let's talk because our kids need field trips. That's ridiculous that they're not going to have any. So I have a high ropes course, I have canoeing, like let's figure something out. So let's be in touch. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no further from the floor, looks like we do have a Zoom person. Okay.
No, it's still not working. Hi, Jessica Sharon, Jaffrey resident. Can you hear me? No?
Yes, Jessica, go ahead.
Oh, you can. Thank you. All right. I just want to go back 5 years to the first year of COVID. I felt like our community, our school board, our parents, we all came together. We did everything we could for those graduating seniors. One just happened to be my oldest. Their senior year was taken away from them unexpectedly, completely out of our control. And now I am set to my second oldest going into his senior year. And his senior year is being taken away from him and a lot of other children. His core group of friends, my child is now losing 4-year varsity sports for 3 sports. Very, very hard. The number one thing you want to do as a mother is you want to fix it. You want to make it better. There's nothing I can do as a mother to change this. And I know that the board is not directly responsible for this. I know it's voting, but as a parent, you want to do what's best for your kids. And this was not what was best for our children. And I can't continue to say how much this hurts for my child and all of these seniors and all of these 5th graders and all of these pre-K children. It hurts. And I don't know the community that I live in, that I was born in, that I was raised myself in I chose to stay in this community and raise my children in it. And this is so disheartening. And the employees and the staff members that I see tonight, 24.5 positions that are no longer there. I don't understand where our community went. And as a parent, I can't fix this. And I'm heartbroken for all of these kids. Thank you.
Our time of public comments is now going to be over. Before we adjourn, there is a piece that that I do want to respond to. Ruben, could you please put up the district website on the screen? moving forward, we will continue the full transparency that we have been espousing for the last 6-8 years. And on our district website, if you go to the school board section and go to the agenda and minutes, you can see years of what our agendas are, and they are twice a month. You can also on this tab see our committees. Please look at those and watch the dates of those committees as we get updated. They are not updated right now, but as they get updated, we will be letting you know. We have meetings twice a month as far as school board. We talk about the committees at every meeting. If you go back, we have had dozens of hours of public meetings since the deliberative session, dozens of hours talking about what this will look like. And I don't say that as a reprimand, I say that as please look at those again, because we have to move forward. We actually have to hear why these things were cut. We have to hear everybody. So I'm asking you to please go back, take a listen to these. See, this will tell you everything about how you can advocate, how you can act. These are the places this happens. So I am sorry this feels sudden. Tonight had to be a Band-Aid ripped off. It had no other choice. We have to get this signed. And I think you know what this did to us tonight. Please look at these minutes. Please watch for the future meetings. They are all on Zoom. You don't have to show up in person. You can listen in your bathrobe. It's okay. You can respond. Okay, but please do continue this advocacy. And I am so grateful for what you did here tonight. I'm grateful. So I will take a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Since you're navigating your computer, could you possibly pull up the SAU 47 Facebook page? Do you think you could do that without sharing anything? For people who are not interested in searching around on the school website to find out when the next meeting is or what the agenda is, these things are usually posted on the SAU 47 webpage. It's pretty handy. You can make comments, although I would prefer if you made the comments in person or via email.
Lisa, just have a comment before we close. I just want to thank everybody who's here for coming out and expressing your words. But I want to make a particular thanks for our administrators and our teachers, our staff. I know you folks have the hard work now, not only of trying to help our students, our learners through this, but also figuring out what's the best way to make things work and keep moving forward. I know it's not going to be easy, and grateful to you folks.
Thank you for saying that, John.
Take a motion to adjourn.
I'm over adjourned.
Charlie, thank you. Second?
Second.
Sandra, thank you for seconding. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Abstentions? Passes 7-0-0.